Okay, well, welcome. First day of school, and I think everybody is busy and probably extremely tired. So thank you for being here. I would like to call this meeting to order on this 27th of August, 2024, 6:30 p.m. This Board of Directors regular meeting. So our flag salute, I think this is our last flag salute that will be done by which I love having the student board representatives, but they're not quite as cute as those little elementary school students, so we're looking forward to that. So we would love to have you.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ms. Richardson, can we have a roll call, please?
Present.
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 Okay, moving on to the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of August 13th, 2024. I would entertain a motion.
Board President Phillips, I move to approve the regular meeting minutes from August 13th, 2024.
I second the motion.
Was that August 13th? Did I say the date right?
Yes, did I not say it right? So we have a motion and a second for the regular board meeting of August 13th, 2024. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to the agenda review, Mrs. Whitney.
There are no additions or changes to tonight's agenda.
Oh, great. Okay, we have no special recognition tonight, being the first day of school. We want to turn the time over to audience comments now. If anybody would like to speak, just remember our lovely little cone over here is green for the first minute and a half, then it turns yellow for the last 30 seconds, and then it's red when you need to be done. So please wrap up your comments when it turns yellow, and please end your comments before or right when it turns red. So anyone have any comments? All right, online, Mr. Garrett? Okay, no audience comments or online. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have personnel warrants 2024 to 2027 contract with International Union of Operating Engineers, 2024 to 2027 contract with PAE coaches, district annual objectives, overnight student travel for Pasco High School and Chihuahua High School Teaching Academy students to attend Future Educator Summit, out-of-state student travel for Pasco High School cross-country team to Catherine Creek State Park, out-of-state and overnight student travel for Pasco High School cross-country team to Blue Lake Regional Park, out-of-state student travel for Pasco High School cross-country team to Thompson Ranch, Resolution 1052, closure of all PSD ASB impressed accounts, Sageview High School construction change order number 11. I would entertain a motion.
For President Phillips, I move that we pass the consent agenda as presented.
Board President Phillips, I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second to pass the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please? Yes.
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 There are no, motion passes unanimously. There are no action items on the agenda today, nor is there an extended study session or discussion. So moving on to reports, we have celebrating student achievement with Emerson Elementary School for Washington State School Recognition Program for the 2022-2023 school year. Mrs. Global?
So as Mira pulls her presentation open, I just wanted to say thank you to our building principals who are here, and I owe a tremendous apology to both the principals and the staff at Emerson. When I put the schedule together, I didn't think about today as the first day of school. So what a horrible way to celebrate principals by making them show up on the first day of school. to a board meeting. So my apologies, this was really meant to shine some light on you. And I'm sorry that I missed that detail, but know that we're so grateful for you and so grateful that you're here. And I'm sorry that it's the first day of school.
And we might have some Starbucks coming your way because you're probably going to need it. So a good evening, Board President Phillips, Superintendent Whitney, and the members of the board. Tonight, I have the privilege of highlighting another one of our schools and celebrating student achievement at Emerson Elementary School. And I'm not going to go into the details since I've explained how the schools are recognized, but Emerson School is being recognized for outstanding achievement in closing the gap for English learners during 21-22 school year, as well as for closing the gap for multiple student groups, including English learners and students with disability. We're honored to have our current president, principal, I probably feel like Principal Dan Horn is here, but I've also, our VP is here, but I've also invited Brooke Scholheis, who's currently the principal at McClintock, but she was actually the Emerson principal for the kind of the work that has happened. That so it was really important that she was also present here as well. So again, kind of the purpose, giving the little bit of background, the Washington, I'm not going to get into the details of it this time, but it's important to provide context as to how the schools are identified in recognition. And it is really based on these three organizations who actually collaborate to identify using very complicated identification process to honor the schools. So schools are recognized based on the performance within the Washington School Improvement Framework, we call it WSIF, which addresses key areas such as closing gaps, growth, and achievement. I will focus specifically, however, tonight on the Closing the Gap, because that's the award that Emerson received actually 2 years in a row. So it was for, they didn't give out any awards the 2 years ago, so they actually, 2 years in a row, they actually made growth, which is pretty significant accomplishment. So for Closing the Gap, this category honors schools that were previously identified for comprehensive, or what they call it, targeted supports under ESSA, the Every Student Succeeds Acts. So these schools have shown significant improvements either school-wide or specific student groups while also meeting other eligibility criteria, which I will explain in more details in the next slide. And I shared this graphic with you last time. This is a recognition matrix. Last time when I was in front of you, I specifically talked about growth, and that's what Markham Elementary School received. And for school to be eligible for recognition in this area, specifically Closing the Gap on the left-hand side, the gap between the highest and the lowest performing groups must be narrowing. So not that all students need to grow, but students who are the lowest group, they need to be growing in an accelerated rate. That's hence the Closing the Gap from 1 year to the next. So the Washington School Improvement Framework, WSIF, uses decile scores, which I explained last time. They assign decile top 10% gets 10, next 10% gets 9, and that's the decile points. So they use scores to assess whether schools have made sufficient improvements in closing gaps for specific student groups, including those based on race, ethnicity, and program-based categories, such as students with disability. To be eligible for this recognition, a student group must show top 20% improvement in this scores, with at least 20 students records aggregated over 3 years. So it's like a 3-year data. The process involves determining if school in various support tiers, including those identified for comprehensive or targeted support. As I mentioned, that actually Emerson was identified as a targeted support for English learners in 2017. So in order for them to actually qualify growth, that group needed to not digress and continue to improve, which is pretty impressive. That was through COVID years. And I'm going to show you their data in a minute. So the next slide actually shows the Emerson's, the WSIF that this is a framework. As shown in this graph, the blue bars represents 2021-22 school year, and the orange bar represents 22-23. For the schools to qualify, the decile schools for English learners, the EL, needed to remain above the threshold. Remember the threshold, which you see the dotted line, which is 2.25. That threshold identifies those groups who are bottom 5% in that category. And I showed the threshold for that. So for the schools to qualify, the decile scores for English learners, EL, needed to remain above the threshold indicated by the dotted line. Since the school was first identified as a Tier 2 support for English learners in 2017-18, not only has the EL decile improved from 2.8 to 3.58, but all groups have shown a progress, as you can see last year, with a notable increase for the students with disability, whose decile score rose from 1.143, which was below the threshold, all the way up to 2.98. So this is a pretty significant growth overall, but specifically those two groups who made significant growth to close a gap. I wanted to share one more slide to kind of put this in. I know it's hard to put this in kind of layman's terms, but this slide also illustrates the improvement from a different perspective. So in 2017-18, Emerson was identified as, before COVID, as a Tier 2 support school due to in the EL. That's, you can see the kind of what is it, turquoise bar in the middle. This is the diagram that it shows how schools are identified in state of Washington. In 21-22, however, they went from Tier 2 to Tier 3 comprehensive as a compound because the rules have changed on Title I. So all Title I schools, there was another layer of identification there. So actually went from Tier 2 to Tier 3, which seems like they actually dropped in their identification, but their EL scores never changed, they continue to raise. So this is a big success. They went from being Tier 3 school 2 years ago. Last year, they actually came off the list completely, and because every category was above the threshold. So Emerson School is called foundational support. So none of the groups fall below the threshold. So they went from, I'm going to say it again because it's a huge celebration. I want to give them a huge clap. From Tier 2 schools for 3-4 years, they went from bypassed Tier 1, they went from Tier 3 all the way to foundational support, because every subgroup, including all students, actually was above the threshold. So that's a huge accomplishment for Emerson. So when they're identified, they're actually identified for 2 years. So good thing about Emerson is that they could have said, we want to come off that list and we don't want the money, but we say, oh no, we want the money for another year. So they actually, even though they're foundational support and they're off the list, but they actually receive 1 more year of assistance from the state as a part of the OSSI grant, which is great. So I asked them, I was like, do you want to opt out of getting the money? And they said, no, we'll take the money. Which just means that they have to follow through with some of the compliance, like upload the school improvement plan and just jump through the hoops, so to speak. But that's a huge accomplishment for a staff. And really congratulations to the students for such a great work. So the next 2 slides is how did they get here? So these slides were actually co-created with Brooke and Dan. Actually, they met together because some of these efforts are continuing on at Emerson. So how did they get there? Really prioritizing, you will probably see some similarities between what you see here than what Markham talked about. Really prioritizing the Tier 1 instruction, core instruction, what all students get every day, it starts there. Really with the consistent implementation of ARC, our reading curriculum, as a core to emphasize really foundational skills in instruction. And math support was provided using the Expressions program, which is our curriculum, and they really offer targeted intervention support with all teachers participating in daily interventions. Additionally, support was given to high-need students and paraprofessionals to receive trainings to really better assist these students. They also dedicated intentional time to English language development, as you can see, with really focusing on 3 pillars of bilingual education and making sure that is happening in all of our classes. Emerson also focused on the whole child. So the social emotional learning was really critical. It had to be integrated as a core instruction. So that they incorporated SOAR expectations, that's a school-wide expectations and behaviors. Using Second Steps as a social emotional learning curriculum that is incorporated into their learning. They also celebrated student achievements with Emerson Day, excellence, and engaged with community through various supports, including food pantry, partnership with communities and school, and Bite to Go programs. So it's not, in order for students to achieve academically, their basic needs to be met. So I think that has been an emphasis at Emerson as well. Also partnership with ATP, our Action Team for Partners, and really involving communities in effort to support and encourage really the attendance. Students have to be at school to actually achieve. So that is, I just want to congratulate the staff before I actually invite them up, and I do have the pins. Are there any questions from the board?
Assistant Superintendent Gopal, I was wondering if you could describe a little bit more the Bite to Go program.
Brooke, would you like to come on up? I would like for the principals to, both of you can come up. Here we go.
Yes, thank you for the question. Bite to Go is a program where we have food that is donated from various organizations, and then we have students on the list. There's over 100 of them that come in once a week, and they're able to get food to be able to take home. The ones that are suffering from food insecurity, and so it's a really great opportunity where we're just able to fill their backpacks full of easy meals that they can take home and be able to eat and make sure that they're getting their basic needs taken care of.
So that's like doing a food pantry within the school?
So, similar to that, yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
While you're up there, I love this idea of training paraprofessionals to support students. Can you explain a little bit about how you did that? Because that's something I've noticed in the schools that could be really helpful. So I love that idea.
Yeah, Brooke did a lot of that before we got there. We've tried to continue on with it. So our assistant principal, Mr. Cruz, on Wednesdays, we don't do as many interventions with the students, with the paraeducators, and he dedicates time every Wednesday to have meeting with the paraeducators to see what are some of their needs, but also provide training for them on how to utilize different English language arts, Spanish language arts, and math interventions to be able to work alongside the students. So that way when they go and they're working with them, they have a plan and they're not just making it up as they go along.
So do you talk to the teachers about, what, because anyway, because I have taught some, and sometimes when you separate kids into groups and you give the teachers, sometimes it ends up being a babysitting session rather than an educational session. And so you're really trying to get the paraeducators, but when you have a classroom full of kids, it's really hard to train a paraeducator while you're teaching a class. So do the teachers have say in that as well?
They can share what are some of their needs, but we try to make it easier for the teachers because it's really hard to plan your lesson and plan for what a paraeducator is going to do. So we're trying to standardize what are some of the things that they're doing using our curriculum materials and the interventions that teachers would already be doing. Let's train them on how to do that based on where students are and let them kind of do their thing, and then prioritize certain math content, give them the tools, give them the intervention materials that they would need to be successful, and let them go and try to take some of that off the teacher's plate so they can focus on the Tier 1 instruction.
That is fantastic. I love that idea. That's great.
And I would add to that, we have a pretty robust paraeducator training program. I know Leanne actually oversees that. We actually had para trainings during tier days when the teachers were getting trained. They had options of also receiving trainings as well. So,
Which is great, because I've heard a lot of paras say, I just wish that I knew what I was doing better. I wish I was trained. So that's that they want that too.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. So, are there any other further questions? And I would like to invite all three of you to come on up, and I do have pins for you guys and all the staff, and we're going to get your picture taken. So come on, too.
So Anna Tensmeyer is now going to help us understand a little bit more our new communication tool, Parent Square.
Okay, good evening, Board President Phillips, Superintendent Whitney, and members of the board. Tonight, I'm excited to provide you with an introduction to Parent Square, the district's new mass communication tool. So for a little bit of background, currently the district uses Blackboard as our mass communication tool. However, Blackboard's being phased out by the vendor. So this created the need for us to find suitable replacement that would meet our district's communication needs. After careful consideration, Parent Square emerged as the top choice for our district as the communication tool we will be implementing for this school year. We're confident about this choice because it comes highly recommended by neighboring districts, including Richland and Kennewick, and 56% of other districts across the state use the same tool. Parent Square also offers many features we're looking for. First, Parent Square includes translation capability, ensuring that our communication is accessible to all families regardless of the language they speak at home. Another standout feature is automatic opt-in. So all families are automatically enrolled, which means they don't need to take any extra steps to receive important messages. Parent Square has a critical feature. Families cannot opt out of emergency communications or alerts. So if there's emergencies, they can't opt out of those. This ensures that any urgent information such as weather alerts or lockdown notifications reach every family or everyone in the community without exception. And finally, Parent Square is known for having a very high engagement rate. The reach on communications in Parent Square is around 98%, while we currently reach about 72% of our families with Blackboard. So Parent Square, what it is not, it's not a replacement tool for Class Dojo. We understand that many elementary school teachers use Class Dojo, and they're welcome to continue using that. It's really up to their principal's discretion. Additionally, Parent Square is not intended for student communication at this time. Currently, our middle schools and high schools are using Minga for student communications this year. So I'm going to show you all a quick overview video so you kind of get a better idea of how it works.
Parents are busy, and they're getting school information from everywhere. Teacher apps, school texts, email newsletters, district calls, backpack flyers. Too many methods, too many places to look. Schools don't know if they're getting through all this clutter and noise. Who is saying what? If family contact information is current, and who's not being reached? Wouldn't it be better if everything was in one place? So you and your family be sure nothing, and no one is missed. It's time to get organized, to get unified. Welcome to Parent Square. Parent Square unifies family communications from the district office to the classroom, all in a single platform. From district-wide alerts to individual parent-teacher messages, Parent Square's communications tools are built to work together, not piece together. Staff have to learn only one system. Parents find everything in one account. It's more than messages. It's also school services that rely on two-way communications, like filling out forms, scheduling conferences, excusing absences, and responding to progress reports. All fully integrated, so parents can reply by web or app and miss nothing. Administrators also miss nothing. Usage and participation reports let them know who's not being reached and help improve communications equity. And they can trust contacts and messages will stay private and secure. Schools also increase engagement and family connections with Parent Square's unique ability to verify and flag updates to contact details. Parents can pick preferred ways of being reached and use any of their phone numbers or email addresses to log in. That gives parents control and schools confidence important messages make it through. With Parent Square, schools get a unified communications platform that saves time. They stay in touch with families easily and consistently. Parents have just one login account to find information and communicate with schools and teachers. They're more satisfied and involved. Parent Square. All of your family interactions in one place. Parents are
Okay, so as you saw in the video, Parent Square offers many valuable tools that help our staff communicate more effectively to families. First, it serves as one central tool. Families know exactly where to go for important information and get in touch with key personnel, streamlining communications. Next, Parent Square offers quick translations in over 100 languages, so families can actually select their language preferences, so all communications are automatically translated for them. The platform also enables two-way communication, so families can stay up to date and interact directly by filling out forms, signing up to volunteer, and much more. And finally, it provides multiple ways to reach families through text, email, app, notifications, and voice messages, ensuring that everyone stays informed. Users can even customize their notification preferences to receive communications in the way that works best for them. Because we will be implementing the Parent Square app, the current PSD app will no longer be available after September 30th. Parent Square also offers a wide range of valuable features to help streamline communication and improve engagement across the district. Here are a few, but I'll share the ones that we're most excited about. A few mass notification tools that we're really excited about are secure document delivery and attendance notifications by day or even by period, with the option for parents to excuse absences through Parent Square, which is really helpful for our office clerks. And for classroom communications, teachers can send direct messages to a parent or groups of parents, schedule meetings and appointments for things like parent-teacher conferences, and even digitalize volunteer signups. Parent Square also offers a variety of additional features designed to save time, improve communication, and streamline school services. So things like forms and permission slips allows us to save time and paper by collecting important forms and permission slips digitally. Calendar and event RSVPs make it easy for families to RSVP directly. We can collect electronic parent signatures. We can administer polls and surveys. And we can extend communication beyond current families by connecting them with alumni, community members, and other groups. So you can form community groups. These tools help improve engagement, reduce paperwork, and create a more connected school community. So in regard to the implementation process, first, this kind of goes through the steps of what we've been doing. So we first started by identifying the users of Parent Square. This included anyone previously using Blackboard and our teachers. So building principals, as I mentioned before, do have the flexibility to decide when teachers will begin using the platform. I know most of our schools have already started. Currently, we're focused on training. We've provided resources to building staff, scheduled in-person training sessions at various locations. For example, I was at 4 schools today, so training staff, and we've also created a training resource webpage on our intranet. And in terms of data upload, we've successfully uploaded all student, parent, and staff data into the system. Our data syncs from PowerSchool nightly. So on our call with Parent Square last week, they actually mentioned that our implementation has been one of the easiest they've ever seen. And that's primarily due to Mark Garrett and his team and the work they've done to ensure our data is organized and accurate. So really good job to his team. We've completed thorough testing of the data, and I'm happy to report that there were no issues as of now. And we've also sent out communications to all staff, parents, and community members, informing them about the platform and providing them with resources on how to use it. We'll continue sharing information at community events, social media, website, newsletters, and other communication channels. And finally, as of now, Parent Square is live with a gradual rollout. Keep in mind that the Blackboard contract will officially end on September 30th, and by October 1st, we will have fully transitioned to Parent Square for all mass communications across the district. So for next steps, training will be a priority. We'll continue sending communications and reminders through our normal PSD communication channels. And then we will go live, and we will continue move into the using, testing, and monitoring of the platform. And this will allow us to ensure everything's running smoothly and make any necessary adjustments as needed. And that concludes my presentation. Can I answer any questions?
I had a quick question. So because this can do surveys, is that just more going to be for like inter-school surveys, or can it be used for like community surveys as well?
It could be used for multiple things. So you could do a community survey through it from the district that we could send out. Teachers could use it to do a class survey, maybe with parents, like if they're polling parents for maybe like some kind of event they wanted input on, they could pull directly with their class. And then the schools could do a survey within the school as well.
Will your communications to the board here involve this, or will that be still the email, or how's that?
It'll be exactly pretty much, I think, what we do now. You are all on our Blackboard list, so you get our Blackboard communications, so you will all be in Parent Square, so you receive our communications as well.
What percent of students, parents are not computer literate or don't have access? This is going to impact, I mean, it was impacting before, it's not going to change that, but I'm just curious. Do we have any idea?
Well, I can tell you right now, 72% of our communications are going out through Blackboard, and that's could be from multiple reasons. The nice part about Parent Square is that it tracks everything, and every single school has the information about how many families are non-contactable. And so a big priority for this year is going to be for the front office staff to be going through and seeing whose emails are kicking back, who has bad emails or doesn't have an email, and really cleaning up our data in Power School. So that's really going to be the big priority. Our goal is to have 99% contactability through this platform. We already have like 95% contactability right now with just the information that we have uploaded, which is much higher than we already have through Blackboard. So we're very, very hopeful for that.
I had a question. So I'm pretty sure that Parent Square has a student version of it, correct? So I'm just curious if in the future that'd be something we'd implement for the students, because I know kind of in Richland do that, or would we just continue sticking with Power School?
So we will always have Power School, so they're separate. It uploads the data from Power School, but currently this year, middle schools and high schools will be using Minga. We do have a capability of turning on Student Square in the future.
Chihuahua, as far as I'm aware, doesn't use Minga.
They will be this year.
Okay.
Have you ever thought about doing classes for parents? I know I've talked to a lot of parents and they're like, what is App Parent? And I'm like, well, that's how you can, put limits on what your kids do on the computer after they get home from school, and you can monitor their use and see how much time they're spending. And I have it on my kids' phones as well. I just wonder if something like that, I don't know. I just wonder if something like that would be really useful to parents, especially as we navigate this new world of smartphones and computers and not wanting our kids to have massive amounts of screen time because it's just not good for their brains. So I don't know if putting that out there, but I would attend a class like that. I don't know how many parents would attend a class like that on how do we use these tools that we have. It just seems like it would be beneficial.
Maybe something we could involve into safety communications or something.
Yeah.
So I use this app already as a teacher and a parent in Kennewick School District, and because and I already actually got my youngest's info from Pasco. As soon as I signed in as a teacher this year, it said, "Are you Aurelia's mom?" And I was like, "Yep." And then she was automatically added to my Parent Square account. So I've used most of these features. I haven't used the survey feature, but I've scheduled conferences with it. I've already sent out this year's first contact with parents. It's super easy. A parent already responded. It was in Spanish. It came to me in English, but there's a button I can click because sometimes the translation is So I can click on it and see the original message to kind of get the meaning of it. And it's really user-friendly, and it's been a good way to streamline all communication, because before I had a Google Voice number, I've used ClassDojo, I've just encouraged parents to email me, and just with the sheer amount of ways that parents can reach out, call the school, whatever, it's a lot. And it's a lot for me to keep track of as a parent and a teacher, and so it's really nice to have it all in one location, and it's really easy to toggle back and forth for anyone else out there who's a parent and a teacher to just go back, because it's all visible on one page. You don't have to log out of one. You just click on, I want to see my kids at TriTech, or I want to see my kids at Pasco High, or I want to see my students in my classroom. And I've been really happy with it for the last 2 years, and think it's a great app. And to speak to, I suppose, parents' literacy on computers and internet, I know that thinking about equity for parents and internet access is an issue, but in my experience, no matter the socioeconomic level or language that's spoken at home, everyone has a phone and everyone has internet on it. And so everyone has access to this, and it doesn't require, just download the app and you have access to it. So it is really accessible to all parents.
I'll just say, I was dreading this school year, all the papers that we're going to get. So if this can eliminate that clutter, that's a good thing.
For sure.
Yeah, this is exciting. It'll be fun to see how effective it is, and it sounds like other places have really liked it, so I hope we do too. I too don't love the piles of papers and all the backpacks shoved at the bottom, so yeah, this will be nice.
So far, feedback that we've received from teachers and principals has been all very positive, so we're really excited about it.
Good. And that's great. Thank you, Mark, for doing all of that work so that teachers don't have to. Anyway, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next thing we're going to is Earn More, Learn More per PSD's Substitute Recruiting Campaign with Dr. Bob Smart.
Good evening, Board President Phillips, Superintendent Whitney, and distinguished members of the board. I am absolutely thrilled to come tonight and speak to you about a work in progress and what we've done. And when I say we, I mean we. Mr. Dunstan is the Vice President of the Pasco Association of Educators, and he has been instrumental, along with my friends and colleagues, for us to come up with an innovative solution to attend to an issue that has many tentacles out that affects student learning, our teachers' well-being, and our system. I am absolutely thrilled because of the strong commitment from Superintendent Whitney, Assistant Superintendent Thornton, Assistant Superintendent Lobos, for us to attend to this. We applied a business approach to this, and we have really made a significant change in a problem of practice that has been existing for some time, not only in our district, but in many districts across the state. So I'm going to tell you a story today about what we've done and how we approach this. We have monitored our fill ratio. Fail to fill is a term that is used in schools, and essentially what it means is no substitute teacher available. So what schools do is they'll have teachers with a preparation period cover a particular class. One of the concerns we have about that is obviously our teachers are working bell to bell, but our students may face up to 5 or 6 teachers in a day. So that continuity of good and effective instruction isn't necessarily always present there. So we wanted to do something about that. We wanted to impact the market. We wanted to figure out what are the drivers in this and what could we do about this issue. So we started looking at a number of drivers. And the first one that most people will say, well, gee willikers, Bob, you're not paying people enough. Well, that's part of it, but that's not everything. We also looked at how were our GIST teachers treated in the building. Were they a member of our team? How do we support them? Were they properly prepared? Do their hallmates down the school come in and check in with them? Substitute teachers vote often with their feet. They simply don't go back to a school or back to a district. We have a significant pool of substitute teachers, but we wanted to look at what is it going to take for you to choose Pasco and go from maybe 3 times a month to maybe 6 times a month. What will we necessarily need to do? So we talked to substitute teachers. We talked to our colleagues in PAE. We talked to school principals who have the chore of going around figuring out who's going to cover for this class or that class, in addition to all the other duties that they have in the school. So we came up with a couple approaches to this. We have a fierce commitment to actually do something about this. Oftentimes we talk things over and over again. And sometimes we simply admire the problem. Our commitment was to really get in there, figure out what we need to do, and get this thing moving. So we wanted to be nimble about what we could do. We wanted to be thoughtful about what are the dynamics involved on this, and we wanted to figure out what we could leverage to have the outcome that we want. The last thing was that we wanted to have a proof of concept. This is all really good theory, but we wanted to hit the road and we wanted to test this. So what we went out and did under the support and guidance of Ms. Tensmeyer, she and her team are absolutely brilliant. No school district does the marketing campaign that we did, not only in English, but in Spanish. We are on the television, we're in print, we're on radio. We are all over the place. We generated a buzz. And what happened there? We set up a sub-fair. We marketed it, we got it out in the print. That drove 160 applications to come to work for Pasco. And we've been processing them as quickly as we can. So we're credentialing people. We also went into our existing sub-pool and we started looking at who has been working for us and who is not working for us. And we wanted to get a robust pool of somewhere around 400 substitute teachers that were willing to make the commitment to learn more in our district. We have a commitment for Assistant Superintendent Lobos to make sure that we have a pool sufficient to cover the professional development for our teachers. For example, we could have a professional development that absolutely rocks, but if I can't get a substitute teacher for Mr. Dunstan, that's a problem. Because now he's having to write sub-plans for a number of people that are going to cover his class in his particular school. So we wanted to build that capacity so that we could deliver on what we were hoping to do. Part of our slogan has been earn more. Well, I'm going to show you the schedule for what we call phase 2 in the marketplace, but learn more. No one is doing anything around this, but Pasco is. We've opened up our professional development catalog to support our guest teachers. And I guess that's part of the movement. We've gone away from substitute teacher to a guest teacher, that we're actively involved in their career arc for development and training. And that turns out to be a driver in the choice to choose Pasco first. We also understand we're in a dynamic marketplace. So we really need to be that innovative organization that wants to do something about this. Well, part of taking a business approach is also making sure that the people that we're attracting and working for us are having a good experience. We have worked with our principals and will continue to work with our principals to make that opportunity every day when a guest teacher comes into the building a quality opportunity. We've also worked with our colleague educators to check in. Hey, if you need anything, I'm down the hall. The faculty lounge is here, and we're just delighted that you're here. These are little things that are big to guest teachers when they come to us. We also have designed a feedback system where our subs can give us feedback on our components of our program. So we've set the bar at a 4 and above out of 5. So we're looking at getting feedback, how we're doing, so that we can use that assessment, that data, to continually improve the experiences for our guest teachers. Pay was something. So what we've come up with is an approach that's based on social media business. where you can earn different levels in the system. So for example, our pay beginning this fall is $175 a day. But during that planning period, if that guest teacher is willing to fail to fill to cover a classroom, we will pay them that hourly wage. So we're at, a guest teacher could start off with up to $204 a day. This is important because hitting that market and addressing this, and also helping with our fail to fill in a school that still persists, helps drive those coverages down. We find that if we incentivize at 5 or more and 10 for more or more acceptances of filling jobs in the month, we find that the response back will be, or we anticipate the response back to be quite positive. In other words, the more you sub, the more likely you are going to sub, provided it's a quality experience. We've taken the pay off the market. We are the leader in pay, quality of experience, feedback, and support for our guest teachers. Our premier status are fully certificated teachers that are current with a residency certificate endorsed in the subjects. And from that pool, we wanted to attract folks that might be interested in long-term assignments. So we're looking at that. So a guest teacher could come in, and provided they've met the thresholds of that, earn up to $239 a day. We revolutionized the market and hit the market with $200 Friday. And we did that because that is our biggest day that we're looking for substitute teachers. So we took a page out of business and applied it to an educational organization. So, phase 2, this is our theory of action. When we reduce fail to fill, we increase teacher joy. We increase principal joy. We increase student learning opportunities. Because what happens here, and I think you heard this from some of our teachers, the more fail to fill, the more they're working bell to bell, what happens is they oftentimes get sick. And then they're into not being there, which causes more fail to fill. You might be wondering, well, Bob, approximately what is our fill rate? Our fill rate has been about 70%, give or take, which means that delta of 30% is covered by fail to fill or canceled professional development because we don't have subs, things of this nature. Our goal is an 85% fill ratio. What's it going to take? It's going to take people that have come into our system that have a quality experience, that choose Pasco first, and they've gone from an average of 3 jobs they accept in Pasco to 6 or 7 jobs. If we can get somewhere north of 6 jobs per month, we can take fail to fill off the plate. And by doing that, we will have a much better outcomes for kids learning as they work through their learning in their classes. So, what do we have to continue to do? We have to control the things that we can control, and that is the experience for the guest teachers. Like I said early on, substitute teachers vote with their feet, and we want them voting with their feet of Yahoo, Pasco. I'm choosing Pasco when I have a choice. I want to go to McLaughlin Middle School and rock, or I want to go to Emerson. I want to choose Pasco, and that's the market we're trying to get in front of. And I think with what we're doing, with the implementation of Phase 2 and continuing to pull feedback in and ever, always striving for improvement, I think we're going to do that. And we're going to meet the commitment that we made to you as a board, that we made to Superintendent Whitney and all of our colleagues across the district. Thank you for the opportunity to present this. I'm pretty enthusiastic about it, and I'd be delighted to answer any questions.
Dr. Smart, the pay scale in the presentation, will that be the pay scale throughout this current academic year?
Yes, sir.
And the current fail to fill percentage right now as of today is 70%?
No, fail to fill would be somewhere around 30%.
Okay, it's down.
Yeah, we fill at about 70%.
We don't have data
30%.
for this year yet, I don't think, but that was what it was last year.
As of last year.
As of last year, so we don't have this year
Yeah.
yet, okay.
And can I just share a statistic with you?
Please.
Okay, so unlike most districts, and we're not like any other district, we chose to launch this thing in May. So here's what happened. Absences went up in May. It's normal. You would expect it. But you know what happened? Fail to fill went down. Fail to fill went down. That's profound. Our cost to fail to fill can be as high as $575 a day when you add up everything.
So that, what you're saying is you saw the decrease in that just by that short amount of time of implementation?
Yes, sir. First month.
Okay, you did an amazing job. So I'm a substitute teacher, and you nailed every complaint that I have as a substitute teacher in this. So obviously you did your homework, so that was really impressive.
Thank you.
And I know now I'm like, but my worry was, so what? I really want Richland to do this because I only sub in, I can't sub in Pasco because I'm on the board. So I only sub in Richland because it's closer to my house, and I'm busy. I have my own business. I have a bunch of other things, but I would substitute a lot more in Richland. And I'm like, so what happens if Richland and Kennewick do this? Then we're going to be in trouble. But the way you set this up, you have encouraged subs to sub more often, and then higher quality subs. And so even if our neighboring districts do adopt this, we should still, avoid some of these fail to fill problems. So kudos to you. This is really impressive. So thank you for the work. I think you solved some really great problems with the subs, and I think that this also says that you value subs more.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that. And I hope teachers are willing to let subs teach too, because I hate going to a teacher and showing a video. So I hope teachers are willing to let subs teach more under this, and if they're higher quality, maybe teachers will let subs teach more.
So you said that you have a bunch that you haven't processed yet. So could you kind of talk about how far along you are on processing those that have come in that are interested?
We have most of them done. There's a variety of things. Once, we are absolutely uncompromising on the credentialing and the background checks of every guest teacher that comes into our business. And there's a number of people that didn't make the cut in Pasco, and we've sent out regrets. But there's a process, there's a certification process. We have a lot of people that we wanted to hit that market where, hey, I have Fridays off. I have a PhD in chemical engineering. I have a master's degree in science, and I want to come and maybe teach a math course at one of the high schools. And we want that business. And we set up an array where you can choose those dates for our subs and come in. But we also wanted to make sure that they have, we insist that they have the right certificate, and we work them all the way through the certification process with Olympia. Olympia's OSPI has been nothing short of rock stars with helping us here in Pasco. And we have them, they're on my screen all day. And they've been just absolutely dynamite. They understand what we're trying to do and trying to solve a problem of practice.
So you said that your goal was around 400?
Yes.
And how close to that are you right now?
Presently, as of today, we have 362. We'll meet that goal. Sorry. It's probably somebody wanting to apply to be a sub. I'm sure of it.
So this, I don't mean to, I just want a real quick question. So that $175 a day, so they start out with that for an entire month? And then after that, if they've taken 5 or more positions or 10 or more, then they jump up to the other?
That's right.
Jump to the, okay.
Does it go back down if they don't reach that quota the next
Yeah,
month?
we're looking for continued choosing jobs each month.
Yep.
What we found is when we looked at all the statistics, when you look at our sub pool, it's pretty good, or it was pretty good. But when you dive down into the statistics on how many jobs are being accepted, there's the problem. We have people that will sub a couple times in September, a few times in May, and that's about it. And what we wanted to do was to make an impact, because also embedded in that theory of action is the more you sub, the better you get, the more you're known at the school. And when I was in another district, we implemented a guest teacher innovation. And we found that teachers, guest teachers, choose schools, they felt more comfortable, they're much more likely to sub again when we needed.
So probably over a year ago, I requested that this be put on the agenda, that we address our fail to fills. And then Superintendent Whitney called me and said, what if we do that, but if we look at, what are the reasons that are behind this? And what, including, what are the days that teachers are absent most? And then I said, okay, let's work on that. And then we had, then Dr. Smart, you came up in front of the board and you gave your presentation on, we're going to address this. And in my memory, I said some very heated things about, this is an issue that needs to be addressed right now. And it's an issue that affects teachers. It's affecting teacher, I think of the word I'm looking for. Just like teacher morale. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
And then I saw what the district came up with, and I love the nomenclature: earn more, learn more, and increase pay. I've had people come up to me and be like, "What's going on in Pasco with the subs? Like, why are they getting paid so much?" And I'm like, "Well." But it wasn't me, it was you guys. Like you did such a good job with rolling this out and the marketing, and like everyone knew about you could get paid more to be a sub in Pasco. And I couldn't be more happy with the way that this has turned out and with the work that you're doing and the fact that our fail to fill rate is down. And I'm in it for the teachers and make sure that we keep our good teachers in Pasco and that we attract good subs in Pasco. And I also love the nomenclature around guest teacher, because a lot of times substitute teachers, what we like, oh, a sub is coming in today, we're going to get some substandard work, but really we want to keep them coming back, and we want to keep those teachers learning so that they can, if a teacher has to be out of the classroom for the day, the learning isn't going to be any different. And so I just couldn't be more happy with what's going on here in the district. So thank you so much for all of your hard work to everyone.
And it is truly across the board. And there's a lot of people. It's emblematic of what a high-quality, high-functioning school district does. And our commitment to you as a board to address this and do something about it and move that needle. So thank you, Director Brown.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming. It's so exciting to address issues and to have them so well addressed. So thank you for that. Moving on to future agenda items.
God, I'm all choked up over here, Bob. Who knew that sub-teacher presentation was going to get me all choked up? I just couldn't be more proud of the work that Bob's done. He's been a phenomenal addition to our staff, and my only regret about Bob Smart is that I didn't hire him about 10 years ago. But we're so grateful that he's here now, and the enthusiasm that you saw tonight, he brings to everything he does. So we're just incredibly grateful for him. So our future agenda items, the September 10th is our next meeting. We'll have a comprehensive high school planning effort. So all 3 of our comprehensive high school principals will be here to kick off a series of study sessions focused on really highlighting the work that they're doing as they're opening the new high schools. For this study session, we're focused on the big comprehensive high schools, but there's a recognition that as you add 2 high schools to a school district, you're really relaunching all of the high schools. Chiawana will be vastly different the day that Sageview opens, will be as different as Sageview will be, as will Pasco High. And there was a real recognition of that and this deep desire for our current high school principals to collaborate around, and they have coined a phrase, one team, one dream, and they had t-shirts made for all of the staff that they wore to the rally. And I think what's even cooler about the fact that they did that is how happy all of the other staff were to wear it. And on the back is all of the logos for all of the high schools. And so I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it, I literally, it brought tears to my eyes, because rare is a school district where your high school staffs and principals are willing to unite like that. They're usually pretty territorial around their own schools, but this effort of, we're all here for all kids is just is emanating through that work. And so this presentation on the 10th at the study session will just be kind of a toe dip into what the work will be, and it's one in a series of at least 3 that they're going to do for you. So I hope that you're as excited about what you hear from them as I've been to watch them lead in such a cohesive and collaborative way. Mira will continue her series of board reports celebrating schools. This time, Ruth Livingston, they're being recognized for closing achievement gaps in 21-22. She'll also do the school startup report. Mira's doubled up that night. And then we'll have the school safety report, which will be kind of a collaboration between Mira, Sarah, and Raul. So we'll bring that report to you as well.
Thank you. Are there any suggestions for future agenda items? All right, moving on to communications. Norbert. All I can think of is your first name. This is because I've been up for a long time. So anyway, Dr. Norberg, can you start us out on communications?
Sure. I attended the start of the school rally, and it was quite an interesting thing. You guys all missed it, except for Owen and Danica, to see our superintendent dressed to the nines and her shiny shoes and dress. And but no, it was an excellent opportunity just to see some of the talent that's in our school district, and how far that they reach. I was truly amazed to see that, that we've got an elementary student that makes it to give national anthems across, at very high levels, and just on and on all the way through the whole thing. And so it was fun, and just had a good time, and it was something to experience.
I just wanted to say congratulations again to Emerson for their hard work. It takes a lot of work to close those gaps. And I appreciate it's all behind the scenes, a lot of it, and there's a lot of people involved in that. And it's just impressive to see when we were able to do that. So I just want to throw a shout out real quick. And then real quick, I just wanted to give a kudos, not to toot our horn again in the school district, but in this school district in Pasco, but just something that happened real quick today. I was at work. I was just walking down the hallway, and a friend of mine, or a coworker of mine, was talking to another coworker of hers, and I just happened to kind of just be walking by, and she said something, kind of got into the little bit of conversation, she happened to mention, hey, did you know that Steve's also on the school board in Pasco? And this lady who, I mean, completely unrelated, not the topic wasn't even talking about schools or anything like that. She goes, oh, yeah, Pasco, yeah, you guys have the best district in the Tri-Cities. And that just took me back. It wasn't like she was just trying to be nice. I mean, she literally meant it. So it actually stopped the conversation. And I said, thank you. That's, our district, we have a great superintendent. So I did throw you out there, but of course I said everyone's good. The teachers are good. We have a good district. So I just wanted to pass that kudos along to everybody.
Well, I will do a little bragging for the district. Today in the Tri-City Herald, there was a story about our phenomenal, fantastic dual language program, and Assistant Superintendent Lobos was featured and provided really great information in the article. And the article, talked about how our dual language program is now in all 17 elementary schools and expanding to our middle schools. And I think it just, again, underscores what I've been saying for a while now, is that our dual language program is our crown jewel, and the whole state knows it, and the whole state is trying to emulate our program. And there was a mentioning how, at least in terms of one of the goals of Superintendent Rachtel is to making sure that all 1.1 million public school students have access to a dual language. And I think it's something that we are incredibly proud of, and we should continue to be proud of this. And I know the whole community is in support of this program, continue to foster it and let it grow. So I just wanted to emphasize that in the paper today, and to join Director Simmons and congratulate again Emerson Elementary School on their achievements.
I would like to say congratulating Emerson Elementary School and their achievements. That's very difficult to get through closing that gap. I would also like to say I went to the baseball game where both of them threw the first pitch. Great first pitches from both of them. It was great, and I'm very glad that we get to go to those types of events and do just stuff like that. And also all of the money that was from GISA to all of the high schools, plus the extra money that went to Delta itself, obviously. It's very good that we get to go through those programs with all of our sponsors and everything.
I want to say congratulations to Emerson and also to our 8 staff winners at the staff rally that I did attend. It was an amazing experience. It was something that I didn't expect. It was really phenomenal. We seeing all of our Pasco programs, like both our dance teams, our mariachi from Chihuahua perform, as well as our middle school students who do like rapping and they tour and everything. It was something to be very proud of. It made me very proud of going from Pasco. I also want to say congratulations to my incoming freshmen for completing their first day. I do link crew at Chihuahua, so I'm very proud of all our freshmen who sat there and had to deal with our pep rallies and our talking, because I know they were very scared. But congratulations to our incoming class of 2028. And then I forgot something else I was going to say. I had another congratulations, but I think I forgot. As well as Chihuahua getting a new resource officer. That was something I found out today. Yeah. And then congratulations again to the class of 2028, Emerson, and then the 8 staff winners. And I'm excited for the new school year.
Yeah, I was also able to attend the all staff rally, which was really exciting. The production with that was really big. I wasn't expecting something like that. Miss Whitney in a shiny dress. They had the envelopes for the winners. Just the whole 9 miles with that. The production team in the back. I was able to stand in the back. They were working really hard that whole time. That was really exciting to see. And then I was also able to attend the Dust Devils game, which was nice. It was the district night. I was able to throw out the first pitch on behalf of GISA, which was pretty exciting to do. I don't know, since being little, it was just really cool to throw out the first pitch for a Dust Devils game. And then also our teacher tier day, Miss Machado had invited me, our principal, to give a presentation a little bit about myself and what I'm looking forward to for this next school year. So that was exciting. A library full of teachers, kind of scary, but yeah, it was super exciting to be able to present to all those teachers on tier day.
I would have loved to be at the all-staff rally, but as a teacher myself, and a teacher is doing a principal internship at Abbey Work at 7 a.m. yesterday, so my regrets. I would have loved to have been there. I was, as a callback to our study session, I was looking through, I think, well, not the last question, but question 62, which says regularly evaluate and adjust resources and strategies for closing achievement gaps to maximize their effectiveness. And I think that we saw that with Emerson. So it would be congratulations to Emerson. I'd love to, as a board, study what exactly their strategies and resources they use to close those gaps was and see how we can apply those across the district. Like many of the student board reps and Director Simmons, I was at the Viñeros. So apparently the Dust Devils are the Viñeros now. And so I was at that game also, and on the field when they presented the check to Pasco School District for $66,000. So thank you to GISA, our community partner. That is not pocket change. And these two did an amazing job throwing those first pitches. I don't even want to think about what I would have looked like doing that. So you did so great. I was also able to attend the keynote address by Dr. Jose Medina last Friday at Pasco High as part of the Teacher Cheer Days. It was my first time listening to him, and he spoke around teaching elementary school with a lens of social justice and equity. And I walked away knowing that our Pasco teachers are really getting just some really great professional PD around how to reach our students, especially the first days of school when we need to really establish that sense of belonging and a welcoming environment, but also with strategies that I could use in my classroom as a teacher. So it was valuable in so many ways, and I walked away just really, really happy that Pasco is using its resources to bring in such quality speakers that actually can affect change just by a 1-hour keynote speech. It was just so powerful. And he's so charismatic. Such a great speaker. And so today was the first day of school for most students in Pasco School District. I sent my youngest off to their first day at Pasco High. And and I'm sure that they were there if you guys were there today at Pasco High. And then just thinking about all the teachers, all the students who are there for those first days of school, I know there's so much anxiety and preparation and everything that's going into it. So my thoughts and my heart are with you as you start this school year, and I just want to give you my best wishes for a great school year.
So exciting, these first few days of school and everything that goes around them. I missed the all-staff rally, and I'm so sad because I heard it was the best one ever, and I have been to almost every one, so I was really sad to miss it. But we were visiting a new grandbaby, so it was worth missing for. But yes, I would have loved to have been there, and for the keynote speaker. I love those; they're incredible. But we were able to go to the summer graduation. I love summer graduations. It is wonderful to watch those kids that just didn't quite make it for graduation to finish. We used to do 3 separate summer graduations, and now we only do 1, so it's so much easier. But Danica was able to go there with me. We actually were a little bit short on board members handing out those diplomas to those. And this year, I think was the first year we've ever done it at Chihuahua. Did we do it at Chihuahua before? One other time. Anyway, but I just love the success and having those kids there. So we graduated quite a few students, and so that was a fun experience. 23. So anyway, so it was wonderful, and we're excited for the first few days of school. I made sure that we were home because I still have kids in high school as well. So my son actually was at Gear Up helping the freshmen. And he had a great day today. He was so excited to tell me about it. So I love what's going on, and it just feels like we're setting up this district for a great, successful year. So I'm excited to see where this year takes us.
Thank you. So every year since I was 5, I have cried on the first day of school. When I was little, it was because I was an anxious kid and the lack of routine made me nervous. Now, as an adult and especially as a superintendent, I cry with a sense of pride for what I see going on in our classrooms. It is incredible to me that kids have been away from school for 3 months. You walk into our school buildings and it's like they've never left. They're right back into classrooms with their friends, learning, routines are in place. It's just absolutely incredible. And that doesn't happen without tremendous building level staff who've created cultures in classrooms where kids feel safe to be able to lean in and learn together in basically within minutes of day one. So it was incredible to be out at schools today. I did want to take an opportunity to thank some people around some of the events that you heard. So people referenced the professional development last week. That was a 5-day set of tier days. That is all under Assistant Superintendent Carla Lobos's leadership, along with a very large team. Assistant Superintendent Goebel helps as well, and her team. And they deliver 5 full days of professional development, some of which is done with a consultant, but a lot of which is done with our own internal expertise. The events were across 3 different facilities across Pasco, where every teacher attended a keynote and then signed up for sessions they could rotate through. So if you could imagine the logistics of 5 days training, that is what our staff does. And they do it with such a high degree of intentionality and professionalism. It's not just about making the day happen, it's about making the experiences for our teachers real and relevant, like what Amanda talked about. So you can do things to check it off and say, oh, I got the tier days done, or you can do it in a way that compels people to grow and to want to do more and to give. And I think that's exactly what Carla and her team did. And so just thank you to that team. I know it's a tremendous effort. All of you have talked about the Rally and Expo. Anna, Cassie, Jenny, Gracie, Eli, and Martine, they did a lot of the production. And then Eli always has friends that can help with things, who I met, Sam and Carlos. I've been in the district almost 30 years. I've been to almost every rally, and I would say it's up there with the best one I've ever seen. It was absolutely incredible, and I just think, again, it's not about just creating an event, but it's creating an event that inspires people to want to do great things for kids. And I've received tons of positive feedback, and the similar thread was, thank you for investing in us, that's what staff are saying, and thank you for celebrating us. And I think that's exactly what we would hoped that they would walk away with, was an opportunity to feel celebrated and honored, and doing it through our own talent. I mean, just it was a tremendous day. So thank you for everybody who made that happen, and for people who attended. You know, they could have very easily said, I'm going to use these 2 hours to set up my classroom, which is they need to do that too, right? But they chose to spend those hours with us, and I think it made for a great start of the school year. I also had the opportunity to visit transportation today. Our bus drivers are back. They had a first day of school picture in front of a school bus. It was fantastic. That's their new tradition, and they're back and ready to transport kids and doing a great job with that. And then I also want to acknowledge and recognize our maintenance and custodial and grounds crews. They work really hard to get our facilities ready to go for kids. And then people have already talked about our dual language expansion. The only thing I would add to that is I did get a note today from Superintendent Chris Reichdahl, who's the Washington State Superintendent, congratulating Pasco on that milestone. And I'm passing that gratitude along to the team who truly makes that happen. I received the email, but the gratitude goes to the team. And it's truly, it's a dedicated board, a dedicated group of district and building level administrators with talented teachers, and really a community who centers bilingualism and biliteracy. And I just couldn't be more proud to watch that happen. And it's been a dream for this district for a really long time. So today's a great day to be superintendent, and I find myself emotional during the board meeting, but it really truly is just about having such extraordinary gratitude to watch such committed professionals do the work of influence the youth of this community. So thank you for allowing me to be part of the team.
Thank you. It is a great day. So with that, there is no executive session this evening. So with that, this meeting is adjourned.